Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:13 and I'll call this budget committee meeting to order. If we could go around the table and just do roll call introduction.
Chris Spalding, Steve Delesio,
Garrett Neal.
Jerry Henry.
Ryan Schoonover.
Jamie T.
Excellent, thank you. Review and approval of minutes from May.
Looks like Ryan had
I move to approve the minutes from May and June with a minor amendment to the June meeting minutes. I emailed Amy, so you can just steal that, but it's budget committee 101. This will roll forward to June 11th. It should say July 16th.
Oh, good.
Other than that, they look great. Thank you.
Could I have one ticky tacky edit also?
Yeah. Did I
The,
spell somebody's name wrong?
no,
I'm sure I did.
the third paragraph from the end, the third sentence from the end of that paragraph, could we change it to Misty offered to instead of with like two? This wicked ticky tack,
Where are you at?
third paragraph from the end of the May,
Which, May.
because it was more in in my conversation, whether it was more of an
Oh,
offer
okay.
than let's do it.
No worries.
Wicked minutia, sorry.
That's good. It's fine. I haven't posted them, so I'll post some of those things.
Anybody else on the May and June minutes? Anytime
as amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstain?
I'm saying none, abstain for May,
June, on June or
on
May?
May.
Mr. Spalding on May. Jerry Henry on June.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. All right. Follow up. Business manager financial report. I do not believe we got one of those. We did.
Thank you.
Oh, we did? Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Thank you for keeping me straight.
No worries. I just,
Okay, so maybe I even put it in the back of this packet. I'm an amateur, my apologies. Yep, we got, I put April and June in there.
And I don't know, I believe I sent it electronically.
Yes,
And so you did see, I forwarded Lori's email, so you saw
I
where
got
it says,
Lori's and I got,
where it says that he put in. When we start to close books down,
yes,
if we think there may be some late or last minute
yeah, I
additions.
saw that, yeah.
We make additional encumbrances that may not show on the ones that you actually pull off of the system.
Yeah, but eventually we'll see.
It'll true
It'll
out,
true out.
when they close
Yeah,
it.
that's,
They're closing it now, so by August, it should be closed and start audit.
I did have a follow-up to her report, asking her to explain how where the $700 and something thousand comes from,
7:34.
788, 723. How it comes about, if, I guess the question I have directly is, if, say, Charlestown had $500,000 of that savings out of their budget, shouldn't they get the 500,000?
That's not how it works. That's not how our school district works.
So everybody shares in the
Always
savings?
have for 60 years, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for Lori to kind of tell me how it breaks out,
Okay,
how it breaks out, to see how equal it is. Or where, if it all comes out of method 6, then it goes back the same way it went in.
so the Excel spreadsheet that we got with all of the dollar amounts there,
Yeah,
if we sort it right, it
should give us that
it gives us that
some
answer.
answer, yeah,
Right.
okay, that was a
We
follow.
don't do it because it's not relevant, because it's not how it's handled,
Yeah,
right? So it's always been handled that, and that's part of the problem with how our methods are structured, right? So that one district may go in default and one district may have a whole ton of money left over. And I think we looked at this, like, I have to go back, cause I think we as a board actually pulled this information. I don't know if we pulled it on total budgets, but I know we pulled it on some of the budgets, because when Walpole questioned that. We pulled down a whole bunch of information, went 5 years back and looked at some of it, so.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
think that was
That
the
was back-
special ed budget.
That was the
so-
special ed, you know,
Method
somebody,
six,
somebody didn't transfer or something.
yeah,
and
method six.
Follow the thing.
So I think it was 6, anyway, so it's always, that's why it's. Critical when we put the warrant articles up, right, on what to do with the surplus if we're not giving it back towards taxation. Against assessment. To decide like what the split is, and that's why in the past. A lot of the surplus has always been directed to the high school, right, or to the methods that share following ADM. Because that's how a lot of it is taxed. Right, based on, you know, people with the most bodies there. So we've tried to, as an administration, right, and a school board, if monies are being given back. You know, that they try to follow that so that the people who are getting taxed heaviest on assessment from the methods as they are right now. Kind of also get it back in that, right?
Right,
So I mean, that was part of Charlestown's very vocal, you know, concern when the social worker wasn't hired and they got taxed on it,
yeah, sure.
right? At
Yeah, I remember.
$120,000 in the budget, and then they didn't hire the position. And they didn't get the money back. I mean, it didn't go directly back, right?
Right,
So that was part of the discussion
yeah,
about, you know, this isn't fair.
right.
And can we fix it? So.
But where is it, the requirement come from? Is it a statutory requirement?
What requirement?
Like how that, this unspent money gets. divvied
Allocated back.
Allocated back, is that a school board decision or is it a statutory?
It's a
Fine.
statutory requirement that it goes back against assessment unless there's a warrant article voted by the general populace to redirect it.
Okay,
So for us, that's why we've put warrant articles on in the past to say if there's a surplus above, at this dollar amount or above this dollar amount, depending on what we want to do, right? That, we're gonna put it in we're gonna fund the reserves at the same percentage that we raise that money
right.
on one of those methods, and then we're gonna put 500,000 in the high school reserve or what have you.
But last year we capped that at 250,000
So the rest all goes
So the
back
rest
against
goes-
taxes.
taxes, but. That's what I'm asking is, does it go back equally to each town or is it gonna go
No, it
back?
follows the assessment.
Assessment, okay.
Yeah.
That was the question that I
Yeah,
was
I'm
trying
sorry.
to get to.
Sorry, it follows. the
Which it
assessment.
should.
Yes, because that's how the bulk of it. For the most part was raised.
Yeah.
Right, other than certain sections of methods that we're gonna go over.
Jerry, but if the town is at a deficit, they still get a portion of that
They
surplus.
do, at this point in time. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been. So I'm gonna go out on a ledge here. In my 11 years of working here. I don't think we had any towns go in deficit. I think it has happened since I left. And I think it might have happened twice in the last 8 years or 9 years, and it was one of the baby towns. Just because their budgets are so much smaller, there's not a lot of, you know, there's not a lot of wiggle room to move stuff around, right? So if it's gonna happen, it's not gonna happen in a Walpole or Charlestown budget, or in Alston probably. Because there's enough movement within those three, they're larger. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna usually happen in Akron. And it's usually based on, I think probably the one time I can think of, I think for sure it might have happened in Langdon and it was a turnover of an employee. Right? So you had an employee that was there who was, you know, you only have 3 employees in the school, right? You know, so, and same with Akron, I think there's 3 employees, right? So if one of those teachers that was there leaves and they're at a bachelor's degree 5 step, right, which is maybe, I don't know, picking up a 55 grand, right, with a single plan, health plan, which is 10 grand, so you're at 65, right? Then they leave, somebody comes in, you go, oh my God, they'd be great, they're a master's 12, you know, at $75,000 or $80,000 and they want a family health plan at 30 more, you've just blown it up. You know, and you can't make that up,
There's just no place to go.
right? So I mean, that would be one of the circumstances where that could happen. The larger the budgets, the more wiggle room you have to redirect or not spend something, right? So does that answer your question on that? Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
So we've never gone through the exercise to say, here's where the surplus has been generated from,
Mhm.
because it's not relevant at this point in time.
Yeah, but the school board, from my understanding, the school board could make their guidance and their discretion, change that to be proportioned to the
We
tax.
can't,
You're saying it's statutory.
it's statutory.
Okay,
We can't change anything on how that goes back.
okay,
The
That
only
was-
people that can change how it goes back is a warrant article from the
From that,
general public.
yeah. Yeah, and the other thing that came out when I looked at Lori's
The only
report,
thing we could affect, Steve, is if there's something in the budget that, like, we could pay off, right? If we know there's a really large, like we did last
yeah,
year, a
that's
large
fine, that's-
surplus,
that's
right?
years.
Like, if we were gonna finance a
Right.
truck, or, you know, we still had a loan payment due and we wanted to pay off that loan
That's right.
payment. So that's the only way we could affect the surplus.
Yeah, up until July first, it's
Right, yeah.
unspent money, and then on July first it becomes surplus.
Correct.
You're teaching me something.
Yes. Yeah.
But the other question again too is that now we're 3 years in a row with over $1 million at the end of the year. I think that's one of the things we really should be looking at. That's the.
I
Really,
don't disagree, however, I'm gonna caution you that those three budgets didn't have the settled agreements that you now have.
what agreements?
The settled collective bargaining
Bargaining,
agreements that you now have. So it was difficult to fill most of your aid positions
Mm.
because the wage levels were much lower than everyone around us, right? That's not the case after this last agreement.
We'll see how.
So, right, so it would be interesting to see
Yeah,
at, you know, September 15th, it's gonna be an important question probably for all of us to ask.
right,
How many open positions are there? Right, because I think time will tell if bringing up those wage levels are going to allow us to fill the positions, and most of them are in special ed. I mean, there's still
Special-
critical shortages,
yeah.
right?
yeah,
And even though there's critical shortages everywhere, even in hiring consultants, there's critical shortage.
well, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Good
I will
conversation.
also say, I mean, yes, I'll also say. At this point in time, I'm not positive how much Title II and Title IV funding we receive. Okay? I just left the district that's gonna affect them about $250,000 in this 25-26 budget. So. And that's a federal,
yeah, there's a whole bunch of uncertainty out there. so
exactly, right? So.
Whoever has the best crystal ball will win.
That's right, yeah, so, and that doesn't mean that we have to absorb the programming that might have been planned.
Right.
For 2 and 4,
It's a
but
discussion
it's a
point,
conversation.
for sure, there's no question. Good,
Any other conversation on the financial report?
And we'd like the format, yes?
Yes.
I liked
Okay,
it
good.
all along, yeah.
Great, awesome. Okay. All right, and again, this is gonna move, they're
Yeah.
closing the books, it may get higher. I mean, Lori's very cautious, right, in the projection. So assuming the revenues come in as stated, and we've kind of made adjustments for the couple of areas where they weren't going, where they're probably not going to.
Yeah.
Although Medicaid is, you know, that's a rap shoot, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
all
hopefully,
history.
you don't budget 220,000 for that.
Right, no. No, and this year's budget, we're gonna have to adjust. If it's that high.
Yeah.
So when we go to set
Yeah.
tax rate, we're gonna probably have to adjust revenues.
Absolutely. Yeah, from 60,000 is what we actually got for revenue from Medicaid, when there was 220,000 budgeted, that's huge.
And again, it's sped crystal ball.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, and they're tightening just how you process
you
that,
get it, yeah.
so.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have one heavy hitter that moves out.
Yeah.
So
But it's better to
go low.
yeah, and receive high.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jamie, why did we go over in regular ed? Right, 114,000?
I don't know off the very top of my head, I would have to look at the.
I was- Okay, well, I was just curious, only if you were sitting in some of those board meetings with, and if they were talking about it, I was just curious why.
So
what-
if you look at the note,
Yeah, D, and it said,
substitutes. Because your principals cut all the substitute money, you spent 130.
well, now, there was some conversation regarding that because we were using paras versus teachers, and teachers get a $75 an hour rate to be a sub versus a para or something, which gets,
Sure,
there was a lot of that conversation going on, and some principals said, well, we're gonna use teachers from, and some principals were, well, we don't use teachers, we use, aides or
and some of
whatever.
them, they were like, we can't get any subs at all.
Right,
But apparently we must have upped our sub pool, right?
or,
So when they have that, and when they have the aides fill in for the teachers, the aides who are already in the room and they're
Right.
familiar with the kiddos and fill in, they get a little bit of a bump up, right? Like a differential, so that's not as high. So I can get back to you on.
I just think it's,
Kind of subs.
right, and I think it goes into,
I'm sorry, we
mind-
always budgeted $35,000 at every location.
Yeah.
For a million years,
Yeah.
and then they were asked to cut the budget, so the first place they're gonna take it out of
well,
is,
I'm not negating that,
yeah,
that point.
Yeah.
We're also a million over,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah.
all I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things. I'm just curious because it goes into the mindset of the principal and how we are operating with and utilizing teachers and subs, which would then go to some of my theories about block scheduling, that there seems to be some teachers that have some time. And why are they cross-pollinating and taking a substance, a position?
Right.
So I'm just curious how that manifested.
Okay.
The rest of it is really, holding that one right there. Oh, tuition. Is that from a lack of 262 lack of students, Jamie, do you think? What's that note?
I think it's lack of students and. Yeah, I don't know. I think we lost, yeah, I mean, there's,
Locations?
no.
What is
No.
that?
Are you talking about revenue?
I'm sorry, no, yeah,
Revenue line, or are you talking?
no, that's not a revenue line, is it?
I'm looking at tuition. First page is revenue.
Okay, yes, ma'am, revenue then, yeah,
Lack of
thank
revenue,
you, yeah,
yes.
lack of revenue didn't come in.
Lack of students. We over projected how many kids are gonna come. I think we lost one of the towns, actually. But I don't know which one it was.
So we would assume next year that the ad. Lori's gonna probably, that will be around 500,000.
We need, yeah, we need to, and we need
adjust
to
that.
look at it for what the year we're moving into.
Yeah, right,
To see if it needs to be adjusted. She may have already adjusted it down
okay,
on the next budget
Right.
out,
right.
on the projection.
Mhm.
I've got to go back and look at that.
Excellent,
Have a copy of the MS-22.
Yep.
Okay.
this is a once a year document, correct?
Yes.
So I don't need to carry
Let's
that
go
on the
get our
next month's
little
agenda.
Cookies off of the thing. Yes, right on the top here.
Oh, there.
Yeah, I know. Where's the top here? Yeah, so this is MS-22, the MS-22, as it says on it, the report of appropriations as voted. This is, so your annual meeting is actually two pieces, right? You do the deliberative session and then your annual meeting and an SB2 and everybody goes out and go, right? Okay, so after all the voting of the annual meeting is concluded, this document is filed with is set up and filed with DRA 20 days later. Okay, and then assuming your board signs it in a timely manner, I think we did this year. And this goes into the DRA to say, and where our expenditures lie within the departmental sections of this, educational funding structure, right? So you can look at the departmental numbers or that first column. So you have regular, you all, and these numbers like 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, those will always carry through all GASB accounting structures, okay? So you can look at anybody's budget anywhere. Those 4 function numbers will always ring true. They can put more digits on it, but those 4, like, it can be 1215, 1220, 1240, but the 12 part is always gonna be there. Oh, did I screw it up? I'm sorry, I let it go to sleep. Okay. Okay. So this is. So you have a packet, Jerry's doing a great job.
I'm trying,
Alright.
I lost track here.
So the last one is the school forms and documents. Okay. And that's actually where we're gonna, let's start with that one. We'll pass these out.
Oh, so is that everything on the MS 22?
No,
Oh, sorry.
all right,
Oh, because I need all the stuff.
Is it?
good job. That
No,
one,
it might be missing page.
gonna miss it on your,
Yeah.
we'll start with the last, oh, no, here it is. It's like it's stuck together, no,
I don't know.
yeah, here it is, I got it.
Oh, okay, that's what confused me, I'm going,
Don't
where
worry.
is?
What would be our page?
I know, thank you.
Alright. So if you go to the last document, click first. We got yours in here, honey.
Isn't that part of this?
Right, that is your MS 22.
Yeah.
Right, so. I figured instead of rewriting and recreating the wheel. I would pull this down off of the Department of Revenue Administration, we refer to as DRA. And the DRA. Does this little sheet, oh, we haven't done it in years, this was 2022, and I don't think it's changed, but. As you can see, it shows you all the different forms that have to be filed. All right, and what the form numbers are. Who's supposed to sign it and when is it due? I didn't put official due dates on the end, but I can go back and add them, I just didn't have time. But you can see if you scroll down that form number column where it says MS 22. Right? That's the one that we were just looking at. So the other items that go into the DRA at the same time the MS 22 form goes in. Are those ones that I put a bracket to the left, so your annual meeting minutes go in. Your voting results of all the tallies that you do at each one of the towns goes in. This report. And then the annual report, so that all goes in and gets filed at the DRA. For the Fall Mountain Regional School District, we upload it, okay? And that substantiates. The numbers on that form. So whether you wanna say that's the end of the budgeting season or the beginning of the budgeting season, it's all cyclical, right? Okay, so if we go back up to the top. Your warrant, which is set by the majority of the school board. Other than for us, we know that the budget committee sets the dollar amount on the budget warrant, right? On the budget warrant article. You can also have petition warrant articles. So the warrant, after the hearing that we hold for the budget hearing and warrant discussion. Then that has to be filed with the DRA 20 days after our budget and warrant hearing meeting. And then the proposed budget. And or the proposed, so it's an MS 26 or a 26C, we're a 26, no, we're a 27, because we have the budget committee sets the proposed budget, okay? I'm an MS 26 up north. And MS 27 here, because the budget committee sets the budget. And so that has to go into DRA and be uploaded, the proposed. after we have the hearing, the budget hearing, okay, within 20 days. And then the default budget, because we are in SB2, has to also be filled out and goes in right around the same time frame. That's why there's a bracket around all of those, because they're kind of all handled at the same time. And then deliberative session meeting minutes. Your school district clerk certifies them and they get uploaded. And then the sample ballot has to be uploaded to the DRA so they can look at it. Okay, so that all occurs after the hearing and the deliberative session, then they work on the sample ballot, because that can change at deliberative session. And that has to be noted, and all of these timeframes are because they fit within the dates that you have to hold the hearings, hold the voting. Okay, there's a very specific time frame, especially for SB2s and or cooperative school districts. And then it comes back to the section we just talked about. And then we'll do an MS-24 by September 1. And what that does is we've already told the Department of Revenue Administration what we think our revenues are gonna look like. Okay, and we do that early in like March. And so, yeah, I should probably do it, yeah, earlier than that. So you have to true those up, once you know what your surplus or your unspent fund balance is, right? So you go back in and you true up your revenues, and then you send them into DRA, because you also need to know from the DRA what percentage of special education aid they're gonna reimburse, right? And so you don't know that until, later in the fall. And so we go in and we true up what we know that's coming off of the MS-25. The MS-25 here is a product of the DOE 25. Now, the DOE 25 is not on here because that goes to the Department of Education. That is the wrap up of all the expenditures coming off of a school district fiscal year. And that report's 25 pages long. Right, I called it that, I don't know. And that gets filed with the Department of Education. As an aside, what pulls off of all that data is the MS-25, and that gets filed with the DRA. Those are both due by September 1. You can ask for a 30-day extension, and in other circumstances, I think you can ask for up to 2 30-day extensions, but you can only do it one 30-day extension at a time. And then these other ones are just ones that you have to let them know who your auditor is. And when the audits are prepared, they have to be uploaded and filed. Okay, and there are limitations on when. Okay, and then if you have what they call a single audit. A single audit has to do with grant funds. And a single audit is outside of a regular school district audit. It's for the feds. The single audit means if you have, and Ryan's gonna help me because I haven't done grants in forever, but is it now over what, 500,000? 750. I think it's 750.
I was thinking 750.
It used to be if you got more than $250,000 in grants, you had to do single audits. Okay, now they've upped that because it's so labor intensive and it's expensive to $750,000 that you have to have single audits done on certain grant receipts that are over a certain dollar amount. I'm sure we get that much, so we have single audits every month from here. Those have to be uploaded to the federal clearinghouse. Okay, and those are usually uploaded by your auditors.
It's also applicable to your towns too, so if you get that much from FEMA money, you still have to do a single audit.
Okay, so that's a quick overview of the school district's forms, timeframes, and all the stuff that we have to file with DRA, and then with the added one for DOE. The DOE 25 goes at the same time as the MS-25.
So the form for the October student count, does that go to DOE?
the form for the October, so you're talking about the BOY report?
Maybe that's what.
Okay, the business administrator does not handle the BOI report, that's handled by the superintendent's office.
Okay,
And the BOI and it's called EOI, which is end of year report. Those are both handled by either the superintendent's office in conjunction with the tech department. Because oftentimes they're very technologically challenging uploads.
Certified by the superintendent.
And they're certified by the superintendent. So those are done October 1 and June.
Actually,
After June, isn't it?
it's like right now for your end of year, I think, because
Oh, okay,
Rebecca
so it's-
just sent
Oh,
us,
so
yeah.
okay, it's July, yeah,
Now,
15th,
yeah,
right?
I think they gave us.
Okay.
extensions here, though.
Yeah, so July 15th for EOI, and then BOI, you're gathering the data as of October 1, but I don't think they have to be filed and uploaded, maybe Kyle knows, until I think it's November 1st.
I can double check here.
Because I think what happens, because from that information, and it runs on a 1-year lag, so actually it might not be a November 1st deadline on it. But from the EOI information. The adequacy aid numbers are figured. It's on a 1-year lag, and I don't remember if it's BOI info or EOI info, but one of those filings that they upload is what they use at the fiscal office of the Department of Education to figure out what all of your adequacy aid is. And we can go over adequacy at a different time, but that's got a whole lot of different pieces that go into it that take into consideration how much you receive per child for the different things that you're handling, right? Whether there's a special ed component, there's a poverty component, there's a English second language component, there's the, base model dollar amount that, is still in the legislature that they just won the thing, but so all of those numbers are relevant when you're building the budget. And we're gonna look at that on the assessment sheets, because that you don't have to raise that dollar amount that
Yeah.
they send you. Okay. All right. Good on that? Okay, so if you look at, so FMS 22, right, and the other forms that go along with it. Yep. And then you wanna come back, and we can come back to the rest of the budget thing, let's stay online with your. Let's stay on- Yeah.
Okay, so, anybody else, any questions on the MS 22? For further comment, perfect. Information request status.
so we got the first one, the end of the year surplus.
So that's completed, right?
Yeah, that one's got, it's done. We haven't gotten anything back on the reserve accounts. yet.
Oh, we do, I'm sorry. I do, those are the emails I have, sorry.
Okay.
I didn't know if you got, that's why I
They
asked.
might have been in my inbox since
Oh, well, there's something here,
I last looked.
school funds. 2024. Oh, somebody must have just run it from,
I took that out
Oh,
of
you did?
Charlestown's
Okay.
annual report.
hold on 1 second, I have the emails. I just didn't have a chance to look at. Okay, I have. Yeah, so Lori sent me the Charlestown ones. Hampshire Trust. I don't have. Those funds. Might be able to read the one, when yours stated June 30th.
On the. On the MS9.
Oh, no, that's a year
that-
later. That's a-
Well, so that's actually, they had a typo, to the best of my knowledge, that's actually that, because that was in their 2024 report.
Oh, okay,
And I looked in their 2023 report, and the numbers are very, very, very similar, so I think it was just a typo in their report.
I don't have, this is really little print. So I have them in my inbox, they're a little print. Principal income, market value. Let's see what's- school capital, we go, special ed, utilities. So elementary. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a, paper copy, I'm gonna have to print them to read them. Sorry, Steve, I do have them,
Okay,
I'll get them out to you.
yeah, I
So it
emailed,
looks like the one that everybody's really, really wants to know about is the health one. It's sitting at 777,124. That one, I can read that one as it's
Yeah.
on a page by itself, so. That's where that's sitting, and then it looks like the legal reserve, that's on its own page too for special ed, sitting at, I think 320,000,
that's the special ed,
yeah, 800.
that was, you just have to write a warrant to change its use.
Yeah, so we're at 320 on that one, and this one's at 777. And then the other ones are, these are. Yeah, capital, so the high school one, it's on the other page, but the writing is so little, I can't. I don't have.
I'm sure Lori will send it out to me when she gets it. It's finished.
Well, she sent it, it's here.
All right, so it might be in my inbox.
It
I
may
haven't
be.
I checked.
think the high school one is now sitting. It might be a 9, it might be something, I don't know, I don't wanna go on yet.
Yeah. Sounds
So,
good.
but
All right,
those
so
are
we
the-
got information.
Yes, those are the two, so info is back on that.
Good. I
Okay,
think that's it then.
okay. And, okay.
Anything else on information requests? Did we want to wrap that MS9 into the information request, or do you guys want?
I did that, gave it to, in my email back to Lori, I
Oh.
requested that she get the MS9 from Charlestown.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
What she
So,
actually got was the New Hampshire Trust. Statement,
Okay.
that's where they
Where
deposit.
Charlestown is holding them in the.
Yes, so the only ones we need to get now. If we want to know, Alsted holds its own capital. Ackworth holds its own capital, Langdon holds its own capital reserve, and Walpole holds its own.
I don't think Walpole holds that capital for the school district.
Yeah, they do,
Gotta go back and look again.
you might want to, because
I keep
we're
looking
not
at it.
holding it, we're not holding any, we can't hold
You can't hold
any of the
it.
other ones by
I'll have to
law,
go back and look again.
so. Right here,
Yeah. Well, look, it's okay.
we've got.
It's not,
Charlestown Elementary, fuels and utilities, special ed reserve, high school capital. There's one other little one on the bottom, which I'm not sure. What that is. See what all the email about here, that maybe relevant total ask the one. Got it. So if I want to project. What do I do?
Control and the little monitor icon on the keyboard. Good. Oh, from here.
Aha! Not the best. All right, so there was some different questions and I might hop around a little bit, okay, but I'm gonna hopefully try to bring it back together, right? So the one I printed for you is not this one. I don't think, it might be. I'm not sure. Use those. Oh, it might be. No, it's not. So the one I printed just, if, you know, you can look at it for reference, okay, we're not betting the numbers, I'm just gonna explain to you how it works, okay? And this one up here is not gonna match it, but the process will be the same each time. I have a bunch of different versions of these, so when I printed it off at home, I printed it from this computer, this big computer, not the baby computer, so I had a different version, but anyway. These are the, so you have this one, right, where it says on the top, reference data, right, that says, it says preliminary determination of assessment from taxation. These two pages go together. Yep, you got it, Steve, yep, there you go, yep, there, that's it, okay. So these are referenced as the assessment pages, okay? Everything you wanna know about the budget as built. And what you're getting charged for, what you're getting credit on, and all of those things, and all of that is on these pages. These are the most important pages if you're trying to understand what the heck's going on, okay? I think, okay? So the percentages that are used, which is ADMR, right? Run on a 1-year lag because they have to be numbers that have been vetted by the Department of Education. All right, so you'll see where it says ADMR, it's gonna say 22-23. So you use 22-23 for 24-25. Okay, and it runs on a 1-year lag. So what occurs is that it's an ADM percentage of the whole total. So you total up all the ADMR, that's average daily membership in residence, meaning kids with butts and seats. That's why it's a 0.49. We don't have a half a kid, okay, but they actually count up the actual days they attend. Okay, and so then you run it out and it becomes a percentage of the whole total. So that's important. Because it drives into some of the method, it's used for some of the portions of the method values. You also have in your packet this little overview sheet. It's gonna say 14-15. Sorry, it's the last one that I had on my computer. But, and so the data is gonna, it may be different on the number 3 through 6. So on the method values in this section here, that's on the assessment pages. Number 1 and number 2, method 1 and 2, these values here never change. They're set in stone. They were set in stone in, I don't know, what, 2001, I think, is when this whole method thing got changed. It's in your articles of agreement. I don't remember the date. I think it was 2000 or 2001. So 1 and 2 don't change. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 will change every year, or should change every year. Or maybe I should say may change every year, okay? So method 3 is based on building replacement costs. And method 3 are the shared maintenance costs that cannot be directly attributed to any one location, all right? And so those are done, the percentage of those are figured based on replacement costs of the buildings themselves. So if you go to the second where it says method 3 data. So in May of 2013, the renewal listings for the insurance on our buildings said replacement costs for these different buildings are these dollar amounts. Okay, not contents, buildings only. And so as a percentage of the whole, the method that's attributed out, the costs in that method that are attributed out to each one of the district towns are apportioned by replacement costs of the building themselves that are being taken care of and or maintained. Okay, so that's method 3. Method 4. Yes. Right?
Yes.
4. Where am I at? Right there.
So
So
if the total,
4, What's that?
If the total value of all, oh, that's the high school stuff.
Mm.
Okay, so it's the percentage of the total that the building represents.
The method for expenses, which is your transportation costs, okay, are done with a formula that I'm showing you here. It's based on hours of drivers, it's based on numbers of routes, it's based on costs of service, leasing, insurance, miles per day. So it's all in 2013. I don't know what, I was building the 14-15 budget. So this was the projection of that back then. I think it's changed a little bit since then because I don't think. We used to lease our entire fleet
Mhm.
right back then, and I think that's changed since I left. But I'm giving you an idea of the complexity, right, of how those numbers were figured out. Now, the high school is always a certain dollar amount or percentage because we do a looped system. And so all of the buses, or most all of the buses used to be, I'm not sure right now, I can find out, are used to transport high schoolers in.
Mhm.
Okay, and then, you know, they go back out and they do elementary runs. It could be that, and it might be that one of the buses doesn't go out and do an elementary run, it actually goes to vocation. Takes the kids, two of them probably, go to vocational runs in different directions. So that's the complexity of transportation, and of course, that one will change every year. The buildings one, I'll go back and say it may not change every year because they used to only do the revaluation on the insurance assessment of replacement every 2 years. So that one didn't always change every year. Sometimes it'll go 2 years and be the same.
Unlike in the case of North Charlestown where they eliminated the school. That we should bring there,
It will change once it comes off. Yes, it
Yes.
should change. Yeah.
the same thing if North Walpole closes.
Correct.
School,
It'll redistribute the different percentages.
yeah,
will
yes,
redistribute.
value should come down and then.
Right.
We-
And
we-
the
And we
number-
hope it has, so thanks, I'm gonna look into that.
It should for this budget year. It wouldn't have for the last, because it was in between the 2 years when it occurred. And I don't know, because I didn't check, Chris, I just happened to think about it when you said that. We may have missed that and need to go back and readjust that.
Good.
Okay, so 5 is technology. It's any technology costs that are not directly attributed to the location, all right? And so, without looking at the broken down of the budgets, which I can pull them up, I can actually pull them. You just see that, but if it's relevant, we'll pull them. That is actually done based on number of devices at each location and a percentage of the whole. It's a simple whatever, right? And keep in mind, this was, 10 years ago. What you're looking at, right? This is just for reference because it was quick and I pulled it up. And then method 6, expenditures are, I have to refresh my memory. One second, let's go. So this, as you can see, when we're doing the assessment sheets here that go out into the budget book, this is a huge workbook with tons of
Yeah.
worksheets that all drive into it.
Mhm.
Oh, and I don't have the methods in there. Okay, I don't have the methods on there. They were plugged in. So that's probably why I went to this one and pulled this out. Method 6, I think, is special ed. I'm pretty sure it is.
Did you share that, Google Doc with us?
No. It's for administrative uses. Because if it goes out and people start playing with it, moving it all over the place, and then it gets handed out.
Of you only as a,
I'm not comfortable, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. But I wanna share this because this is the pages that we share with everybody,
yeah,
right? The tops of all this information are on each one of the individual budgets that are given to us. Okay, and are, I believe, usually posted at So if you look back in your budget book, in the budget book, you'll get, these numbers will be up, will be on the top. As they've changed, and they'll also be on this sheet here, so these numbers here will also be on the top of each one of those budgets as built. Okay, so that's what that represents, and I think, like I said, 6 is special ed, and special ed follows the formula where 1/3 goes to the high school, and then the rest of it's by the 1-year AD1. Okay, so they carve out 1/3 to the high school, and then the balance they figure out by the ADM figures. Okay, all right, so then what occurs is we look at where the elementary students are attending. Because there's an inter tuition dollar amount that goes back and forth on this assessment sheet for children attending a location outside of their own town. This was relevant, it's still relevant because Ackworth and Langdon send to Alston. It was relevant when we had Ridge kids that were going to Walpole. It was relevant when we had, before they built the addition on the primary school at Charlestown, and we had kiddos going to North Walpole, right? So in here, it shows you, it shows you residents of Ackworth attending Ackworth, there are 32, right? There are 29.5 residents of Ackworth attending Alston. And that makes sense, right? Because the high school we share together, so we don't carve out high school and say you're going to high school. There were 111.9 Alsted kiddos attending their own school. There were 414.3 kiddos attending Charlestown. So Charlestown wasn't sending any kids. Sometimes you'll have an inter-district placement if you've got a situation where a kiddo needs to be removed from a certain circumstance, right? Either, who knows, bullying situation, could be familial situation. I mean, there are different reasons, right? And that's usually done and determined by superintendent and school board.
Does that also include like your special ed collaboratives, like your elite program, is it the same
The
rate?
LEAP program has been carved out and is in the method 6 based on its own, because that's how the special programming were to be handled. If there are one-to-one aides in there, though, they get charged back to the town that the student comes from.
Okay.
And then you see Langdon, they have 28.3 in Alston, they have 13.4 in their own. So that breaks down the kiddos. So what happens is, you'll see if you go back up here, these tuition rates here, these are inter-district tuition rates. These are not tuition rates that we would charge somebody coming from the outside necessarily. They're inter-district tuition rates. So that's important because right now Alsted's inter-district tuition rate for this year that we were showing here was, say, $20,873. Okay, so if we move on.
Walpole's free?
That's why we wanna go to Walpole,
Yeah,
not Alston.
it said 0 for Walpole.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, just
Let me
checking.
go back.
Steve Rowan did well for you guys.
I think this is an experiment with Walpole removed.
No, oh, it might have been, it might have been one that.
I'm like, wow. Steve-
It might have been the one that I was playing with. So the
I wasn't gonna go down the path.
Hey, you know I was.
So, but if you look on this one, it's fine.
Okay,
understand.
yeah.
It was at 18,006.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so, and see Charlestown's rate's actually lower. So,
He said more.
so as you come down, what then occurs is that it takes an expense and revenue recap below, right? And so on your next set of lines, you're gonna see the expense recap
Yeah.
for the direct elementary expenditures.
Mhm.
That means your K through, or your pre-K through 8 in Walpole, your pre-K through 8 in Charlestown. Those are direct expenditures to the town, okay? Then it shows all of the elementary expenditures for the methods. Then it shows your direct high school expenses. And it shows your method expenditures for the high school. Okay? And so then over to the right, it's gonna show the revenues that you're expecting in, right? So we say, okay, we expect this much in revenue from tuition, we expect this much in tuition vocational aid, we expect this much in transportation aid. So we then plug in the numbers, all right, there of what we think is going to occur. And if there are any warrant articles like that are separate coming from capital reserve funds, that number gets put in there too. That's important because then all of this information, okay, filters out to the assessments. And when you look at the assessments, so if you look at Ackworth's assessment, right? The direct elementary expense line of 515, 187, let's say, should match the direct budget as built that's shown for Ackworth. That's their direct budget expenditure. And so that will hold true on every single one of these towns on that top line. That number that flows through to the assessment sheet should match their direct budgets as built, all right? So then the rest of them that fall underneath there, the method 1 elementary expense, method 2, method 3, method 4. Those are going, if you go to the method 1 budget and you say, okay, method 1 budget, say it's $1 million. And then you go back up to the method 1 number up here for Ackworth, which is 4.94%. You take the method 1 budget times 4.94%, that's that dollar amount
Right.
that's now getting assessed on the assessment portion of this document to Ackworth for that budget. And that happens for every single one of those mini budgets, okay? And then you come down to a total expenditure number. Here's 2.4, almost 2.5 million, less the revenues, because you get a portion of credit for any of the revenues that are coming in for the portion of expense that you got charged. Okay, so because the high school gets revenue from tuition, you get an offset of tuition from the high school revenues because you got charged for the high school. Okay?
At 4.94%.
Right, exactly, so it follows right, so then you also get equitable education aid. And so that's $488,180, and we know that that number can change, right? It's told to us in November. And then when it comes out the next year, it can go up and down by 5%. That's why we don't set the revenues in stone until October after the budgets are built and voted. Because by that time, the state's supposed to true up the numbers of all of these aids that you're receiving. Okay? And so that comes off, and then it says, okay, here's your local assessment, and then the state ed tax, which is a joke, because that's swept, and you raise it locally, and they just think that, you know, they tell you how much it's worth, so it's called state aid. And then after all of those calculations, the local assessment for Ackworth is 1.7 million. So that's how the assessment pages work, right? It takes into consideration all of these mini budgets out here, like this is Ackworth. So in the other one, the sheet that I have, these have been filled in from the really long budget pages so that they're in this version, they're what do you call it? More succinct. Instead of the 7 pages of the budget, all the line items, they're consolidated. These are the
Compressed.
consolidated numbers coming off of those little mini budgets. I should pull up the other one to show you. It shows all of the line items all the way down, and then it pulls the numbers off the bottom and then it fills it in. So, and then we put in, you know, we put in the swept tax rates and we run all of those things. So that's your assessment pages and how they work. And that's how the methods roll into those. These are also the budget numbers by location and methods. The overview sheet. It also creates the overview sheet from when we pull all the numbers into the document. So that's how your assessment pages work. We'll just look at anything else that I wanna do. Okay, so once this is done. If these are all voted, if all these budgets are voted through, right, but and any subsequent warrant articles, if there are other warrant articles, they're added on to this page before the assessments are finalized. Then the assessment gets put into a document for the DRA. Okay, and you'll see it comes out of DRA like this, and then it shows what makes up all of the different state education, equitable education taxes, and the breakdowns of some of it, a little bit more broken down on the back, it's on the back page. Okay, so the assessment calculations that we do with the 12 mini budgets get rolled up into this nice little document that gets sent to the DRA. They don't get all this. Okay. Yeah. I hope that helps make a little bit more sense of
It does.
how everything works.
Well, can I ask you a historical question that you might have done? Prior to 2002, this ADM mess, which I think methods, right?
Sure,
How
it was,
was it done?
I think, Chris, if my memory serves me
Yeah.
right, I think it was, ADM and valuation.
Okay.
So I think it was a 50-50 formula on ADM and valuation.
Okay.
And what happened, I mean, you've heard it a million
Yeah.
times, I don't have to reiterate it,
Right?
but the feeling was that. The larger schools were getting hammered because of ADM and the smaller schools. Were being able to spend whatever the heck they wanted and really it didn't, they weren't paying for exactly what they were receiving.
Yeah.
So it was felt that a formula like this where the direct schools, have a direct impact on their own budgets.
Mm.
Would be a cleaner way to do it. And then all the children in the high school would be more treated fairly because of all these other,
Mm,
that's the thought back
that
then.
was the thought.
And I think it worked well for quite a few years, but I think there's a lot of changes that have occurred
Sure.
in legislation and funding and all of those things. That it needs, and the board agrees that it needs to be really seriously looked at. I mean, it's been looked at multiple times and there have been people who have brought up stuff. I brought up stuff 10 years ago and said. The high school formula needs to change. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to Charlestown or Walpole.
Mhm.
Because they're the two largest and really it should be a 20% to everybody. It doesn't matter. Just on the stuff that are like, lights, electricity.
Bricks and mortar type
Bricks and mortar.
fixed
Right.
expenses.
But that's not gonna be a popular thought, because some people's stuff's gonna go down, some people's stuff's gonna go up, because the amount of dollars you gotta raise is still the same. Right?
I was just curious from
Yeah.
how it was done before
A
because
lot of school districts are 50% ADM, 50% valuation.
I was, that's the one thing I think in detail how I lack, cause. I didn't live here at the time in 2002. I came back home,
Yeah.
2008, but
Yeah.
it was just.
There was a lot of people on that committee too. So that's a hopefully quicker.
Yeah.
Version of. When we're building it from an administration standpoint, how it all fits together. And how it works, right? And what are the documents and when do they have to be done?
Mhm.
And so when you're looking through, and I'm sorry that my one that I showed you online is not necessarily these, so we're gonna post the one that I handed out, because it's.
Walpole 0. Oh, I see.
Thank you, David.
I was being good, so.
But
There is a
Spalding's gonna
lot
be
going
back.
on there.
No,
And
Yeah.
And
It is.
it's, while it's not difficult if you take your time,
Right.
it is. There's a lot of movement
Ooh.
that can be ripe for error, absolutely, because you have one or two people that are. You're managing it, that are doing multitudes of tasks, right? So will it be 100% correct all the time? Probably not. But it's gonna be as close to, I mean, I don't know that, I could have made errors on it, I don't know, it's a lot going on, but. But should we try to maybe simplify it? Yeah, I.
Simple is good sometimes.
Sometimes.
So.
Most of the
Okay.
time, I'll say it.
And then I didn't do the overview of the articles of agreement, but I mean, the methods are kind of, that's part of that. We can go through the articles of agreement if you want, or if somebody has any specific, there's been changes to the articles. Over the years, the amendments are always in the back of it.
Mhm.
The last amendment that was done, I think, was to allow for. North Charlestown to be,
Oh,
consolidated.
right.
I think the board would like to have 2 or 3 more motions. Depending on what occurs from the study,
Oh,
yeah,
mishmash.
right, yeah, so that may have to wait a year depending on what occurs from the study. So, all right. That's it.
Perfect, and then does, so the list Steve gave us, does
Yeah.
that kind of tie right into all this too?
Yeah, 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 and I emailed that list out, I think.
Yeah, I printed it for everybody, it's in full packet, I mean.
Are these forms on the, are these forms, sorry?
Those are on the, I printed those right off the shared drive, Chris.
I know, but, the form itself,
Yeah, there's a link in one of the.
okay. Thank you.
Well,
I probably missed where it was in a previous meeting.
Yeah, so Steve had gone through, some of the stuff that we had done.
Yeah.
Over the years and kind of. To try to streamline it, right, Steve, so that
Yeah,
we're not
well, just-
asking for,
Yeah, things before and after. Like now, I think as soon as they close the year, you get the actual versus budget, and that gives us. It validates the existing budget expenses, right?
yes,
Basically what it is. And if there's any updates to the capital plan. Just
Yeah.
those things. Look, the student count, the teacher count, I think is just, and we get it, it's great. The OE 25, I just marked it down as, just in my notes here, that September 1st. Oh, whatever, somewhere around that time will become available, I guess.
Yeah.
Very good question for you.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the likelihood that that September 1st date is hit?
this year. We're very, hopeful that it will get hit this year. With the changes, being Lori's, I think, 3rd year, and the fact that, she was able to hire somebody into that middle position. Who has more of an accounting background, so. I'll probably know better after the next meeting. I mean, I'm hopeful that all those other meetings and data mining doesn't,
Come
mess-
to an end.
yeah, mess that up, right? So, but she's much more comfortable with all of the pieces of the data, you know what I mean? And I think that, I know they've been working, her and Scott have been working through, just making sure any of the journal entries for the due funds are done. Getting the purchase orders closed out, so. We're hopeful that we're gonna hit that target. I know the board knows how important it is, right? You have a Charlestown select person on the board. And, it was very painful the last couple of years, and so. But we're really charging forward.
Yeah, the one thing that I realized, I guess last year, I finally realized that the apportionment formulas. Or the apportionment numbers in the articles of agreement are not the same ones that are used for the budget. So,
1 and 2 are,
yes, but the other ones, but
the other
so
4 change,
at some point, we should know what they really are.
yeah, they.
Before the annual report comes out.
They are so when we get our budget books, if you have it, Chris has this.
Yeah.
So when you get your budget book, right, at the top of which one do you wanna borrow? No, anyone, it doesn't matter. That will be such. Okay, so they're coming off of the system. Right, she's doing it off of the system.
Oh, that's several years old when, so this is like, what year is this? Look at the year. There's
Let's
one.
go 24.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so what I'll ask her to do then is to give us an overview,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because.
It's in the annual report.
Yeah, but we know, she knows them when these methods are built.
Right.
So does this have a method one? That's what I was looking for.
Oh, yeah, it's in the front.
Okay.
I can't wait until we get to the point I get a binder too.
Okay.
No, that's super.
So, yeah. So this comes off of the system now, so it's
Yeah.
cleaner and you're getting up-to-date information that's actually in there, whereas
Mhm.
when I used to do it, I didn't pull it off the system, I pulled it off of the
Yeah.
workbook, but, so we'll just ask for, I don't know if you can put it into the system and have it print out on here or not, but what we'll do is ask her to pull this down as a PDF and then
Just
maybe just
type it
put them
in.
across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Good catch, sorry. It didn't dawn on me that it doesn't.
I think the one that I'd be interested in prior to the draft budget is just a quick one-page summary of the special education
Oh, yeah.
pieces. That's such a huge part of the budget. The other things, reserves and between line transfers and things like that are secondary, but really the special education money is a big part of the budget. We should understand. Sandra does a great job in putting that together. And then pretty much when you get the draft budget, the rest of this should come with it. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, between line transfers, so yeah.
That's something you
Yeah,
always say,
it
yes.
shows, yeah, shows where the transfers are. If there's more than one, it will consolidate them together, but. I mean,
Just
at
get
least
an
it
idea of
shows
how
the
much
dollar.
money is moving around.
Yeah. Yeah,
But I think if you get this stuff early, then we can start looking at it before. You get hit with this, all this stuff at the end and.
yeah,
I mean, that is our, hopefully a goal. I mean, is that we're building the budget through the summer, and so
The
we have
timing of How
time.
the state does have this.
Yeah, I know it, but
Really. Yeah, we're not the only, believe me. We're not the only entity and board that goes,
yeah,
can't we do this now, right? And there's so much of the pieces that you don't have. And the state, it comes from either the state or you have to wait till, bodies show up, right? But a lot of it we can, so,
I mean, the expense side, we certainly can, right?
yeah, we should be able.
We should be able to, at least we can say, hey, this is how much we're gonna have to spend for the Charlestown primary school, right here, within.
Yeah.
5 to 10%.
Yeah.
We don't know until everybody agrees on it, because it is hard. And even you with your experience, that December period is just, everybody's starting to get a little edgy. December, January.
Yeah, and I really.
I know.
Really wish that we could do a quick model here. It's just, there's so many pieces to it here.
There's a lot of moving parts to that.
I've really thought about how could we do that, right? Because really, if it's 80% of your budget is salaries and
Mhm.
benefits, right? And we already know what the CBAs are, right? I mean, we should be able to do some kind of down and dirty quick. She has sent me, so I asked for it, I didn't do it on one of the little forms. She has sent me an overview of the FTEs of all the bodies that are on site from the system. To see if I can figure out how to do a quick projection forward with the parameters of the CBA agreement.
I mean, at this point in time, I think you're looking at
Yeah,
3 numbers maybe for expensive.
Yeah.
Right?
well, you'll have your salaries.
Salaries and
right? all
benefits.
associated benefits,
Right.
right? But it should be able to write a formula on the bottom of that.
Yeah,
That should just be able to carry that forward. The only wild card right now, you know what the health is, so it's a matter of really just. Yeah, so I just haven't had
you're
time
gonna
to
get,
play
you're
with
gonna
them.
be in your 90% range or something like that, or.
I'm gonna be able to play with them in August, I will have time in August. I'll be busy with SAU60. Little bit out there, but, So yes,
Yeah, that's, at this stage of the game in the August timeframe. We all have to understand that
I mean-
these numbers are very gross and very.
well, and the other way to look at it is the quick and easy way to look at what you're gonna be facing for salaries is to go back to the projection of when
Yeah.
the warrant article was voted.
Right,
Right.
just ended it up.
It's gonna be at least that much money,
Right,
that's just salaries,
Right.
okay? So,
that's,
actually, that's all, it would be projected on everything, we project everything on that. So that was a projection, of course, you've had people coming and going, leaving and doing and whatever, right? But, I mean, it should be within reason of that.
yeah, you just want to get. You know, are we way over here, or are we down here, or where are we in the, on the
Is it,
scale?
yeah, is it a percent?
Yeah,
Is it a
right,
percent and a half? Is it 3/4 of a percent? I mean, what are we looking at right out of the gate?
yeah, before you start, right?
If you need any help with that, there is a formula you can use, that you can come up with a range on that,
Okay,
based on optimistic and pessimistic values and
Right,
you know, you can.
best case, worst case. Most
I
probable
will clean
case.
them up a little bit then and make sure. Okay, great. It's great,
That's the kind of thing you need.
all right.
A lot's gonna depend on how well Lori and the admins can get this stuff together for the budget, right? So,
Okay.
So we wanna have Jamie ask the school board or the administration for this whole list.
I think I shared it with them
Oh, we did already?
when, on the email when it came in. I try to CC, when I'm sending stuff to you guys. I try to CC Lori, Deb and Misty. So they know, that's probably why she sent me stuff. As I had sent you guys stuff and said, well, I'm just missing this and this. And so she'll usually read it, and if she has the ability to get it out, she will. It's
Perfect.
just, I fell down on the job on this one, sorry, I sent it late. Alright, so how do I unhook myself?
The same, control.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
That's the print.
That's.
I'll control A, control I, right?
any more discussion on that list or? Good. So, perfect. Thank you for putting that together, Steve. I don't have a report from the administration. I don't know if it's in that email that I
Oh.
didn't see.
So, yeah, Lori did send you
okay,
it's a summary of reserve accounts.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, nice, that looks good, and. It's got. So it's a 3-page summary, let me just look there, see where, hold on. Right here. So summary of the purposes, and it's attached.
Yep.
She said schedule of trust is clunky, I'm sharing the Excel file, I will follow up on the Charlestown documents. You want me to share that with the crew? I sent it
Feel
to
free.
Steve.
Yeah. Thank you. Old items on communication to the school board. Jamie, have you guys did any discussion? I know you guys have been busy with a lot of stuff, on the collaborative.
No, in fact, I wanted to ask you, no, Melissa reminded me, I suck at my job.
please fire me.
No, I wanted to talk to y'all, and I'm glad there's this many of us here tonight. About what do we want, cause I'm gonna send it out, I'm gonna send it out today. So do we want to try to do a weeknight? Do we want to try to, I mean, I could send out a doodle poll like all 7 days, but like, that's a lot of people that try to think through, right? So Wednesdays seem to work for us.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So do we wanna send a doodle poll and ask if they would meet with us on a Wednesday night in between our meetings?
Actually, Wednesdays work really well for me.
Yeah, Other than the first Wednesday of the month, the rest of the month is great for me.
Do we know,
That's your select board meeting.
It's, yeah,
when does Charlestown meet?
Their select board, I think they're synced up with us and then whatever's their bi-weekly. So I think they might be the first week, I'd have to look.
Okay, somebody must have a Wednesday night meeting.
I think they have Wednesday
They
night
do.
meetings, like I
Okay,
think
so
they meet at the
shall we-
same time as we do.
So, okay, so if it was if we put on an additional meeting that wasn't a meeting for Charlestown's board, then she would
Yeah.
potentially be free. So are Thursdays good at all for anybody? Like, I just want to give people a, no, okay.
I don't do anything Sunday day, fine, evening.
Maybe Tuesdays.
I think you have something on Tuesdays, right?
Tuesdays and Thursdays are pretty much booked for the month, except for the first Wednesday of the month. This is Cheryl's board meeting is the first Thursday of the month.
Oh, right, you guys had to change it, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm gonna have conflicts coming up when soccer season starts in
Okay.
high school, so
Alright.
I know the schedule just came out, but I didn't happen to look, so.
How are they doing out back? I'm like, it's 90-something degrees and all these kids.
No, the Fall Mountain's playing in Lebanon today,
Oh,
tonight, actually.
they're carrying balls in their arms.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they might, the girls might be practicing. Yeah.
All right, so do we want to try, I don't think.
Monday's okay for me too,
Yeah.
so,
I can't do anything.
yeah, we're all busy people.
In the interim, until school starts, really,
I know the feeling well.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll shoot.
I
for
heard Wednesdays and Thursdays seem.
I'll shoot for Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe I'll throw a couple Saturdays out there, but I don't
Okay.
think it's gonna be popular. 'Cause
oh,
Not with me for the end.
not in August. In September, we could maybe.
I got
try.
some Saturday classes, the
Okay.
middle of September.
All right, well, let's see what Wednesdays will pull.
Yeah.
It maybe not be in August, maybe it's gonna be in September,
I
but
mean, if it's a Saturday, I can reschedule.
yeah,
did the board have your meeting there, your summertime fiesta?
no, we haven't been able to pull
You haven't?
a collaborative meeting together for
It's,
retreat.
I mean, school's almost started, it seems like it's coming, you know? Summer has flown by, it really
You
has.
know, we're just working through all the needs right now.
any progress on the superintendent?
I will know at our next meeting.
Is that tomorrow? Don't you have a special meeting?
I have a special meeting at 5:30 tomorrow,
Yeah. All right,
so. Hopefully. See what happens.
can't convince Deb for another year. Right.
Better idea, convincing me for something, but.
Well,
Yeah, all right.
That's pushing it, man.
Links and shared. drive.
All right,
Jamie, on the rest of the follow-up, did you wanna check with Misty on the link for the agendas and minutes?
I think
Oh, yeah, you think it's in there?
I do.
I must not know my way around.
So, no, but,
Drive.
so I went to the drive, I will double check. I was waiting for us to do tonight, and I actually think there's a live link, cause I think. There's a folder here and it says Budget Committee Live website,
Oh, that's been in there for a while.
and so that's a live link, right? Yeah.
I just
So-
don't know what I'm doing in that.
That's all right. I'm going to, I gotta save the meeting minutes with the changes, and then I'm gonna pop those up in there.
Yeah,
So I believe that is our link to go
oh,
put
perfect,
stuff in.
thank you.
So I can do, if you wanna send me this, or did she already have this? She already-
She doesn't have that, but I actually did that in Google Docs, so all I gotta do is share it.
Okay.
I
just
did
share it.
manage to do that on the drive.
Nice. So, if it's in there, then
I just have it private,
Okay, so share it with me.
Yeah.
And I will pop that in when I pop in the other two things,
excellent.
and we'll see how it works.
And then on that, I'll try to do the agenda shared on the drive within 2 weeks, so everybody's got 2 weeks to look at it. And then if anybody wants to add or subtract or whatever, so that we can have a focused conversation, you know. I'm definitely open to input on what goes on there, so that we all feel like we're being productive with our time. We missing anything on the list, Jamie?
No, I think the SWAT is good. If we could just, I just gotta get a minute to type it into its pretty little thing. So if you got a copy, so if you wanna just double check it between now and the school board's next meeting, I'll bring it to the school board. Okay, I think they've seen it, cause I've given it to Alyssa and Misty, that Misty may have shared it, I'm not sure. But if there's anything you want to add. Okay, and then I'll set it up in the one that I already had set up from the last one, because that way I don't have to recreate the little Google thing in the middle. The only other thing so we got the Excel spreadsheet of the June expenditures that should match that other thing, so maybe. I don't know if it's a follow-up, it might be a new thing, maybe for the next meeting, we can sort some of that and start looking at the large numbers that are either leftover or overspent, because that's kind of what we did last year, and ask some questions about it.
So what are we calling that sheet?
It's the fiscal year to date budget expenditure report. From Lori. Through June. Sorry. So maybe to
So that should be one.
take a look at that,
Agenda item.
yeah, before, because I think August will be the time we're gonna wanna start, looking at where did we end up with some of this stuff and asking some questions perhaps. Why are these so out of whack? And is the administration gonna look at this and, take it into consideration when they start building? Cause they're gonna start meeting.
Yeah, it should be getting ready.
Is there other stuff you guys would like to see on the next month's agenda while we're on the topic?
I don't think there was anything else hanging.
No, I think we're doing pretty good.
Perfect. Any new business or open discussion?
Yep. Three things, but really, thanks Jamie for putting these on, because things that I'd like to at least, broad stroked is the class sizes. More focused on FM and, the cost per class.
Yes, I have that.
Okay,
Did I put it not in the minutes? I thought. I put
yes,
it-
you did,
Okay.
and I appreciate that there because,
That's a follow-up to the school board to ask the
yes,
administration to give us that data.
okay, because,
So I will ask them at the next meeting. I think there's been a lot of vacations and all. So we'll ask for them to pull that data out of Power School. They may have the stuff for the opening of the school year, because the kids have already signed up for classes within reason.
sure. Because it's relative to the 85% labor issue, so. And is it effective in it? And then the cost of block scheduling versus traditional, I did do some research, I do have some things. And so it didn't look biased, I also did some AI research, which I'm still not used to using AI, it kind of throws me off. But I also did that, and I will say this at a bare minimum. Block scheduling is unanimous over all of the research, it's not cost effective. So, and the other scenario is its effectiveness versus traditional scheduling. It's up in the air whether it's worked all these years. So, just something to look at. I do have some of that. I'm gonna share those researches with Jamie,
Yeah.
and then I'll let her send them out, because I don't wanna be the guy that sends out and I did it wrong. So,
Yeah.
it's just, and those will be so that it doesn't look like I biased it, and it shows the question I asked and what pops up, and a lot of the other stuff
Yeah.
pops up, and there is also a very scientific one that came up,
Nice.
and
Mhm.
it will, you
Yes,
guys
yes.
can then read it and digest it, formulate.
It's
your
also
thoughts.
important, I think, to share with the school board for, like you said
Yeah.
before, those are the good. That's the good content
Yeah.
for the shared meetings.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because
Great.
that's where we wanna have that conversation with them. Because they're driving the boat when it comes to, the direction,
Yeah.
how some of this stuff works, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to have those collaborative discussions
Right.
with the board, so that they can go back to the administration and say, hey, is there a better way to do this?
Yeah, and I think the information, what you'll find out, there's all kinds of innuendos of culture and things of this and that nature, but I'm trying to get down to what the black and white is. Is what's the most effective for our children?
Yeah.
And also seems to be reasonably in cost, so, all things that certainly would be.
Mhm.
I'll share that information with you and then, let you put it into
Yeah, I'll push it out.
our system or
We're
however
gonna
you
put
guys.
it in our shared drive, right?
Do you wanna put it in there and you guys get it or?
I will email
where do
it,
you-
but I can
Yeah.
put it in the shared.
Okay.
Or just then an email, more information on in the shared
Right.
drive. And get everybody used to going there.
I know, I'm sorry, I try. Sometimes I can't find things, I have to email people and results.
Hey.
Not gonna judge you, done more than me.
I'm the worst at finding things in the shared drive. Like, oh my God.
I do have one more, and I'm gonna say that this is relative to cost and facilities and effectiveness, but. We all know, organization is more effective and efficient, I'll say that. And if you walk around the high school, it doesn't look that way. So, and I know I brought this up in the past. But I do think there are safety concerns. I know this isn't in our bailiwick, but certainly what's going on around the school is a precursor to disorganization, and we know that's not effective and or efficient, so I'll just mention that.
Okay. I mentioned it to the administration. About taking a walk around, but are we looking specifically inside or outside or?
Well, I hadn't been inside in a while, but certainly from outside, and
There's a lot of stuff.
we don't know who it belongs to. And all, but
Well, I don't know who the who are, so we may know who. it
we may,
belongs
you
to.
may, but
Depends
it's,
on who you ask, I'm sure.
right. So.
I think maybe, and it probably wouldn't be a big discussion, but I saw the news. One article, three different ways, but basically the same article that the state legislature or the state. Courts telling the legislature and the governor that they gotta finance education better. I don't know if anybody in the groups noticed that or know more about it, it's probably a pipe dream, I don't know.
It's, the found out lawsuit, I mean, the plaintiffs won. It went to the Supreme Court and they agreed, but, it's a matter of you dealing with the state.
Mm.
I mean, you're dealing with a state that the Supreme Court's trying to mandate to the state how they pay for things, and so, it didn't work the first three
Right.
times, right? So I don't know. We can hope that they'll, embark on reform. And I think, unfortunately, I think it's gonna have to come in the same way that Vermont's trying to do right now, which is consolidation. And I'm glad they're doing it first,
So we can watch.
so we can watch and see how it goes, right?
It's not a popular topic, I work in Vermont a lot.
I know it isn't.
It's so I get to,
Interesting.
I mean, I don't know, but it's not a popular topic.
I mean, there are more school districts in the state of New Hampshire than are Vermont, right?
Jay's actually on that
I
task.
know, I
force.
saw it, yeah,
Boss, I
that's
don't
why
know.
he wanted to get off early.
I know.
Okay,
What are we supposed to do with a declining
I
population?
know.
Right?
I know, well, that's a lot of the reason, it's also not a popular idea, that's another part of the reason for school choice. Okay, it's not a popular idea because it will devastate some areas. And it may not be a cost savings for the areas it devastates, it will be a cost boom, it'll be a revenue boon for the areas that pick up all those children that have room. But the areas that it devastates, because everybody pulls their kids out and goes somewhere else and leaves what? 8 kids behind? I mean,
That's not sustainable.
no, they'll have to close the school down and then, you'll have families that the haves will do great and have-nots won't, and that's not fair. Not fair to the kids. But that's the direction that things are moving. And so let's hope we can get ahead of it, right? And make the right choices so that it is fair to all the children and still makes everybody who is at the upper echelon still happy, right? I mean, trust me, I mean, that hasn't passed yet, but if it passes completely, I mean, it's passed with some caveats, but it hasn't passed the other, I think it's out to committee, isn't it still? The one for school choice,
In New Hampshire,
yeah.
they lifted the cap, didn't they? Who was eligible? The eligible.
Well, they
right?
changed a bunch of pieces on it.
Yeah, they raised, there was like an income limit. That got raised pretty high. Now,
It
so
was-
that,
No, you're
Eliminate.
you're talking about
or-
you're talking about the dollar amount that you can get money and you can go and put your kid in and get
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
I'm talking about open enrollment school choice.
yeah,
Okay, that was up too. And so open enrollment
Yeah.
school choice would have allowed anybody to put their kid anywhere
Anywhere.
that had room.
I think you're right, it's still in committee
It's
for
in
how it's
committee, I
gonna
think.
yeah,
pan out. on
Yeah,
what-
cause, and you can only charge 80% of what your stated
right.
Yeah.
New
right.
Hampshire rate
Yeah.
It's
is.
passed, but they don't know where the chips are gonna fall. It's like, what are you gonna do with transportation? What are you gonna do with?
Right,
you know,
because
how
they
do you-
haven't figured out the money part.
Yeah, there's too many questions.
Yeah. So we need to review that because. Yeah, it could devastate some of the districts, and I mean, if Hanover. It will devastate Hanover, even though they would pick up more children, it's gonna lower the rate they can charge. From line, so it'll be a mess. And go on with this,
Unless all of them just come in, just join us.
because you'll lose $500,000.
And,
Not good.
um,
So there's a lot going on, Garrett.
yes,
That could. Yeah. Completely like flip it on its side, who knows?
For better or worse.
Yeah, it's, some of it is for better and a lot of it's just scary because it's different, right? It's different.
Ultimately, the whole education process needs to be, looked at, so.
Yeah, I'm not in the mood to have a philosophy.
No, I'm not either, but I mean, that's the crux of it.
I had one of those philosophical discussions
Uh-oh.
the other night at the Moose this summer.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
yeah, I don't want one either. I'm hungry. On that note, because
Yes.
I'm hungry, I moved to adjourn at 7:50.
I second.
Second.
Any opposed? All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
that was Brian and Chris.
Yeah.